Hipstar tonight. Paid for by the following: Cena and Me, free app on the App Store. Cena and Me. Do not forget 1-800-NEED-A-GIMMICK to satisfy your gimmick needs. Please donate to the Heart and Soul Foundation. It is tonight on Hipstar Tonight.
Trick or treat, smell my feet. Don't lie and cheat. You're gonna end up defeated when I kick you in the head, and you're left here wondering instead. It's Monday, October 31st, 2016. What do I say? It's a great time, you know? But it's not Christmas. It's not something that was meant to be joyous about. Let's celebrate. Let's get each other stuff. It's not something you go in at work on the streets and be like, Happy Halloween! Like it's like a celebration. Like it's all fucking go nuts, alright? Relax yourselves, okay? You're an adult now, okay? Can we just sorry man, I'm fired up.
Oh, what's your problem? What is the problem here, Hipstar? I've never heard you open a show like this.
Yeah.
It's somewhat unprofessional. I know you had the weekend in Montreal. Obviously, you're not happy about something.
I got some animosity going, man. I guess I got just some energy. I just need to get out some just anger, honestly. Is this is my outlet for it, I guess, right? This is where I let it loose?
Well, I know, but I thought, I personally thought that, all right, it's Monday, like you say. Mm-hmm. We're starting off a new week of shows. I'm sure that you enjoyed Hell in the Cell last night, and I'm sure that you went to Montreal, had a great weekend of shows in the apartment, and, here we are, it's Halloween, you're back in the big city, and you coming out like a ball of fucking fire on air like this. Like, this is not the Hipstar that I know, and it's not the Hipstar that the audience knows. And you owe us not only an explanation, but an apology as well.
Okay. That I understand. Listen,
yes.
It was a good weekend, man. I did really enjoy my weekend. I hope you did too, by the way. Thanks. Happy Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, well. Thank you.
Honestly, you go there, and, for such a good cause. And that's the thing, I've been caught in this monotonous trend of how independent wrestling's supposed to go. It gets boring after a while, man, and it seems like everything's gonna be the same, and then hence why you and I just get bitter and we start this show where we're just kinda like, what's the deal with concession stands and the promoters not paying their boys? What's the deal with that? And we get in those moods where we're just very satirical and just, we get, people sense that we're bitter. It is a satire of a show, so people stop taking this so seriously. Calm down. You're an adult now.
I don't know that the audience wants to hear this anymore. It's constant, just, bitching about the promoters and the northern tours, and never do we talk about the eastern tours or the southern tours or the western tours. It's always the northern tours, and I don't know.
Of course, we're not gonna talk about them because that's what I'm saying. Indie wrestling has become all the same. So Jay, hence why I want to do something that's different. I want to blossom. I want to feel the difference and change in myself. And you know what? I did get some heat for doing these League of Lady wrestler shows. I understand that because here you are.
Well, not League of Lady.
Well, here you are. You got some girls who are very charismatic. They have theatrical pasts, and they rent a ring from Buck Anderson, and they think they can call themselves wrestlers. They go in there, they do the roles, and they replicate the moves, but they have the audacity to call themselves wrestlers. And I know now why that's offensive. I get it. Because, you didn't do what Jay and I did. You didn't break your backs. You didn't put flyers up in mailboxes. You didn't go through that process. So you don't have the right to steal that title. It's like you fucking you chicken. I'm breaking everything down here. It's like
what are you doing? What are you doing at the League of Ladies? First off, I mean, everybody wants to know that. you've been hiding it for a while, that you've been traveling to Montreal, is saying that you've been doing this apartment wrestling in apartment 1C, and now we're finding out that it's in fact League of Ladies, the same fucking organization that rented Buck Gunderson's ring, and you are packing your bags and quietly going there. Like, I'm starting to get offended.
Yeah. Oh, well, hold on. It's my first trip to Montreal was a branch of League of Lady in Montreal who were going to do a similar thing, but they mixed it up. They had a light show. They had lasers. It was such a surreal feeling of a show. It was like nothing else you've ever seen, and it was way fucking better than those Toronto shows.
I gotta be honest. I don't mean to cut you off, but I have never seen lasers at a wrestling show. So continue.
But yes. You've gotten a hint of some of their talent. You've met some of the glorious ladies who just fucking talk themselves out and give off some poor attitudes. So you've met them.
Yeah.
You know what it can be like. But this was completely different. This really opened my mind. This was a locker room of just open-minded people, all changing around each other, drinking tall cans before the show. It was great. It was an entire crew, a film crew that were working together to try to do this show well. And this Montreal branch was trying so hard that the League of Lady Wrestlers had such a bad rapport that they branched themselves off. They started calling themselves Earthbound. Right? It's a sci-fi wrestling. So it's about all these different characters with all these different powers coming from different dimensions, and they meet on Earth for some reason to duke it out.
Ooh.
Earthbound is the title, okay? It's great, man. You got a live band playing during the matches, which is great because you know me, I call my moves really, really loud, so if I have music playing over me, then it's fine. But it's great, and these girls put so much effort into a script. Now, Jay, this is unreal, bud. I swear. This is something that they really had the great intentions of changing sports entertainment, of making something new to it. But their reason behind this is they say, wrestling is very misogynist. They're very against women. We really want to set a new trend. And they do that by still calling themselves wrestlers. But I go in there, and these girls have never ever studied wrestling. They'll meet one Montreal wrestler. And Jay, if you've seen the Montreal territory, you know how great of a selection that choice must be, Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So
you have two choices: Sexy Eddie or Frankie the Mobster.
Yeah. Who are you gonna go after? Right? They learn moves physically. They don't know the names of them. They don't know the tradition of wrestling, and they aren't willing to respect that. And what I don't like is that they call themselves a wrestling show, and the booker goes around and calls herself a wrestler, and that just really it aggravates me. Somebody who hasn't respected wrestling as much, but taken a lot of time to try to understand it. I don't appreciate when it's torn like that, when you can just take it for granted. I was in drama class and I was in one play. Now I can call myself an actor? Get the fuck out of here! You can't do that. It doesn't work like that.
Yes, hipstar, but, where do we go for here? Like, I truly believe we protest the next fucking show. I mean...
You think so?
These shows should be taking off Earth altogether.
Mm-hmm.
They do not follow,
Unearthbound.
the tradition. Yes, unearthbound. Earth, like spacebound, garbage bound. How about that? This is not the business that we got into, and a lot of people that like Chuck the Butcher, for example, that have trained you would be like rolling over in his fucking grave if he knew that you were out in Montreal in someone's apartment fucking around with some script. The people that brought us into the business would literally shoot you. I mean, let's face it, shoot you. I mean,
well, Jay, I have gotten a lot of heat for
guys.
Doing these shows. I have got a lot of people get back to me like, bro, these people are acting like they're wrestlers. You should stay away. And I didn't listen to them. I kept doing the shows, and you know what? It has really affected me. But I knew that this show was such a good cause that I didn't care, right? I was still going to do it, and I was still going to do it for the girls because I knew how great it was going to be. But you know what, Jay? I'm going to end with this. I go in there, a 6-minute ride, I slave my back, and I fucking do things that you'd see these girls never ever doing. I got them flying off shit, doing house dives. I got them doing tilt-a-whirl head scissors, and they just really show no appreciation to the actual physical part of the match, though they call themselves a wrestling show. And I felt so unappreciated at the end of the day that I just had to let loose, and I burnt my bridges with the promoter, and we're going to leave it at that. Woo!
Oh, we can't leave it at that. What are you talking about?
Well, we can do it tomorrow. I mean, we got 4 minutes left, and we still have to get to our fans who've been writing in constantly. And that I appreciate, you know.
Cena and Me. Free app on the App Store. Cena and Me.
You heard it. Oh, God. So either way, man, you know, I just got to say, I slaved for those girls, and I did. You'd see in this show a lot of cool shit that you couldn't get out of the women in today's indie shows. This was a very unreal experience, and at the end, I just really felt like the wrestling part was really, really ignored, and the main part that they wanted to focus on was fucking how well did I remember my lines. Fuck.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it saddens me that, you know, you couldn't get along with some of those people in Montreal, like such as Donut, who is one of my favorite performers. Yes, and it's a sad day. It reminds me a lot of when you were walking out of the Lee's Palace with your knapsack, fired from BCW. I mean, it just, from where I seen you start and break into the business to where I see you now, just constantly packing your knapsack and heading out to the subway and burning bridges with every promoter I've seen you, every promoter that you work for.
Yeah.
It's very sad. And Hipstar, you know, hopefully the podcast takes off and the sponsor money starts coming in for you, because I don't know, it just seems like where are you going to go from here? Everybody has fired you. Yeah,
you know, I've come from a lot of wrestlers that have burnt their bridges as well. I'm very familiar with it, so it's easier to say fuck you than just hold it in nowadays. And I'm really trying to get over that. But where do we go from here? Where don't we go from here? We're going onwards. And you know what? I really had to shoo out the animosity because it's a Monday. Nobody likes Mondays. I just had to get it out there, man. And you know what? Now I'm over it. You're probably going to hear me a lot nicer for the rest of the week, and that I can promise. So, man, I'm sorry we had to start like that, okay? I'm sorry. Sorry I had to hear that.
Thank you. God bless Earthbound and their brilliant production over there, and we shall move on.
Jay, this caller writes in. He says, Jay, actually, speaking of which, most of your shows, promoters and bookers say you're hard to work with. Why do you think that is? Hitting the hard questions right away.
I am. I don't like to listen to anybody. From the day I started, I was, you know, I broke into the business under Chris Thorn. He has his own mandate, his own way of doing things. And, you know, he had taught me that no matter where I go, unless I was working for TWA, the other promotions are shit. And for me to get over, I just can't simply do it unless I'm working for, you know, the Frank Thorns of this world. And God damn if he wasn't right. Like, I try to break away and I try to do these other promotions. And I can't seem to get myself over, no matter where I go, no matter whose coattails I ride, no matter who I'm managing. If it wasn't for the great Chris Thorn and his mandate of fuck everybody and I just do whatever I want, then it wouldn't have never got me anywhere. And in fact, I didn't go anywhere. So I apologize to Thorn. That's my trainer. Anybody that has a problem with what the fuck I'm saying and saying that they don't get along with me can message Chris Thorn at the TWA Powerhouse School. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's actually kind of huge news. Are you this is one of the first times you've really come out and said sorry to Frank Thorn. So I think that's actually kind of nice. He listens to the show avidly.
Yes.
So him hearing you say something good about him, I think is going to go a long way. And it might bring the J Moore Federation back to TWA. We'll never know. Hey, that would be nice.
Thank you, Thorn. Thank you for everything you've done for me, and thank you for paving the way. And
Happy Monday tonight on Hipstar Tonight.
See